Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another great episode of On Air with Pierre. Today, we are talking with Mr. Michael Leigh, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A at Leigh City Towne Center. We're also talking with Whitney Melaine, the winner of the song search for the Don't Mess with Texas program. Also, Leigh Fry with Bay Area Turning Point. All of this and more on today's episode of On Air with Pierre. I want to welcome all of our guests for today's show. And man, we have a really good show for you today. My first guest is Mr. Michael Leigh. Please help me welcome Mr. Michael Leigh. Mr. Leigh, so great to have you today.
Thank you, Pierre.
So I want to start off by talking a little bit about your journey with Chick-fil-A. Maybe what did you do before, and how did you end up getting involved with Chick-fil-A?
Okay, I was a medical customer engineer for Hewlett-Packard, and I worked on medical equipment in the Dallas area. My wife was interested in owning some kind of business, so we looked at a bunch of different things: McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's, a car wash.
Okay.
And then she mentioned to me Chick-fil-A. And at the time, I had never eaten at Chick-fil-A.
Okay.
So I said, Chick-fil-A? I don't even go to Chick-fil-A. So,
but she had.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
It was her favorite restaurant.
Gotcha.
And what ended up happening is I went and looked at, sent away for their information and got it, and found out that their values and our values coincided, and sent the application in. Now, the application was 13 pages.
Wow.
I went all the way back to high school. The process took 11 months.
Okay.
I had 6 different interviews. And then I was blessed enough to open up the Kima store in November of 2001.
Wow. So from what I understand, there's sort of kind of two pathways that are kind of known in the Chick-fil-A ownership path, which is internal candidates and external candidates. So you would fall sort of in the external candidate side. But what I also understand is that the numbers show that most of the candidates tend to be internal, which means to be an external candidate that gets accepted to own a franchise is it's a pretty big deal.
It's a
right, because the numbers are like 1% of 1% of, less than 1%.
Right.
So how did you know that going into the process?
I didn't have a clue.
Okay.
It wasn't until after I was selected that I found out. Back then in 2000, they averaged about 10,000 applications a year.
10,000 applications per year.
And they chose less than 1%.
Right. Which, from what I understand, that number has increased now.
It's about
right?
40,000.
Oh my gosh. So so you got the Kima store.
Got the Kima store.
And what sort of like transition or change did you see from your time at HP to your time at Chick-fil-A?
Well, coming from corporate America, a
Yeah.
lot of things were black and white.
Sure.
Coming into quick service, there's a lot of gray.
Okay.
So it took me an adjustment to understand that there was more gray than there was in the corporate world.
Sure.
And that took a little bit of a transition, just understanding who my employees were and what their needs were and what was the best way to address and handle those needs. That was a little bit of a challenge initially.
So if you were to say Michael Leigh learned 3 big things that were sort of kind of like surprising in the first, year or two of your role as a franchisee, what would you say some of those things would be?
First thing I would say is patience.
Okay.
Second thing I would say is compassion.
And third thing?
Systems.
Now, Chick-fil-A inherently comes, obviously, because of their model, a lot of the systems that are already built in and already in place for you. But then the challenge becomes in executing them. And to your point about some of that gray area, and that you have to make it work for your community, for your employees, for your team members, for the unique needs that you have within the makeup of your organization.
Yes.
And do you believe that to be a ever evolving challenge, or
Absolutely.
do you feel like, man, I've got it now?
No, it's always changing.
Sure.
As technology changes, so in the very beginning when we started, we didn't do face-to-face, where now we do face-to-face. So in the beginning of face-to-face, for example, what you did is you had a cell phone or you had a headset, and somebody was outside writing the orders down, and you had to create a numbering system so that you could move it as quickly as possible.
Okay.
But now it's on an iPad and there are people outside. They have a cash cart which is outside now.
Wow.
So things have evolved, and as they've evolved, we have to evolve as operators because the system's changed and technology has changed, and that has allowed us to do things that we weren't able to do when I started in 2001.
What do you believe is part of Chick-fil-A as a whole ranks continuously number one in customer service, but also the drive-through, right? The drive-through is something that gets talked about a lot because you can sit next to a competitor. We won't name competitors, but that another quick service restaurant that has a drive-through with 6 cars. You guys have 50 cars, and those cars are moving, twice or 3 times as fast as a competition. What do you believe are the key ingredients of what's allowed that to happen?
Execution.
Okay.
Team members buying into what the goal is, and that is to move as many cars as possible through the drive-through to have the service be friendly, fast, and accurate without rushing the customer.
And you've seen some of that improvement from the time that you had your store at Kima.
Absolutely.
And then came a transition where you had the opportunity to buy the 96 Leigh City Towne Center location. Mm-hmm. When did that happen?
That happened in December of 2008.
And was it something that you'd been looking forward to, or was it they came to you? How did that come about?
Because we're internal candidates, we have an idea of where all the stores are coming.
Sure.
So I heard rumors in 2004 that they were looking to put a store in Leigh City. That didn't come about until sometime in 2008. And at the time, here would be another change. At that time, when they were making new stores, they only had one drive-through lane. So it's been over the last 5 or 6 years that we've now gone to double drive-throughs.
Right.
Again, because need, taking care of the customer, moving it faster, being more efficient, we have switched. So initially, Leigh City Towne Center only had one drive-through lane. Mm-hmm. When the store first opened in 2008.
And not just double drive-thrus, but also additional locations, because I believe now there's the Kima location. There's also a location on 96 and South Shore. Mm-hmm. There's also your location, which is off of 646. Mm-hmm. And there's also another location coming down Texas City that's, I think, scheduled to open April 4th, sometime next week. If you guys are just now tuning in, we're talking live with Mr. Michael Leigh, owner-operator of the Chick-fil-A in Leigh City Towne Center. We are going to take a short commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to talk some more and ask him some questions about what are some new items coming down the pipeline on the menu, and we're also going to talk about his particular store and some of the great events that they have there. All of this and more on today's episode of On Air with Pierre.
Every meeting and group event deserves to be at South Shore Harbor Resort. From extravagant to intimate, trust us to make your next business event a success. Perfectly located just 30 miles south of Houston, South Shore Harbor Resort is the largest full-service waterside resort in Southeast Texas. Mixing business with pleasure has its benefits. Our executive chef has created a delicious menu full of the best local ingredients. With upscale, casual, and poolside dining options, there is something for every appetite. Business has never been easier with such amazing choice of meeting spaces that provide a relaxed waterfront setting. Our state-of-the-art amphitheater is perfect for delivering a winning presentation. Swim, float, or paddle up to the poolside bar and enjoy the sun in our amazing 185-foot tropical oasis pool. Or take your time and lounge around in one of the beautiful private cabanas. you're going to sleep well in our luxurious, spacious, and airy rooms, furnished with plush bedding and a maritime theme. Business does not have to be all business while conferencing at South Shore Harbor Resort and Conference Center. Memories made here.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us today. We are talking with Mr. Michael Leigh, owner-operator of the Chick-fil-A in Leigh City Town Center. Mr. Leigh, yeah, we have some folks in the audience. I like that. You got some fans, and I think it's because in the green room there's some chicken nuggets, which are a favorite of folks. Mr. Leigh, when you think about Chick-fil-A and all the evolution that it's gone through, do you get excited about some of the things that are coming down the pipeline and some of the things that you guys are continuously working on?
Absolutely.
To speak to that, there's been some changes in the menu, enhancements, what I would call, and you also have a brand new flavor shake that just got released, I believe, this week.
Yes.
So do you want to talk to us a little bit about that?
Yeah, it's a key lime shake.
Okay.
I haven't tried it yet. I'm not really a shake.
You know,
Not really. Too many calories for me.
I will tell you, when you guys have during the holiday season the peppermint shake, I'm a sucker for that. And at first, when I saw it, it's got that pink, kind of look and stuff, and I'm like, I don't know, this kind of looks like Pepto-Bismol kind of. And then you try it, and then they put the little crunchy stuff in there. I mean, it's phenomenal. So now you got key lime. It's a brand new flavor. Mm-hmm. It's limited time only.
Yes.
It's available at your store.
It is. That,
once again, is located off of 646 and 45. And real quick, while we're on that subject, that place has been under construction. Has that stressed you out a little bit?
Well, it hasn't stressed me out because I've known for a while that it's coming, but now it's reality. So they took the overpass down the beginning of the month, and it will be down for 6 months. So business has been impacted greatly with this being the first month.
Right.
But what we think is over time, people will find out how to get to that area, how to get to Chick-fil-A.
how to get their chicken, right?
Yeah. So it's going to take a little while for the people to figure out the best way to get to us.
Okay.
But people will come see us.
Okay. Do you have any hacks or codes that you've figured out as far as how to get to your location? How do you get to your store?
I get there coming through Walker Street.
Okay. Walker Street.
That's one way. Another way is to go. If you live in Bay Colony, is to go all the way through Calder, and that'll put you on 96. You come down 96 and take a right on Walker, and that'll get you through. If you're in the Dickinson area, you can go 517 and then come up Highway 3 and then come up to 646. If you're on the freeway, it's not an issue for you on the freeway.
Sure.
You can just get off at that exit and then come into the little parking lot by the Logans.
Right.
When you want to leave, the easiest way to leave, believe it or not, is to go Walker and then to go up to 96, go under the freeway, and then that will get you on the freeway going south back to Dickinson, Texas City, Lamar. Hitchcock.
There you go. You got some hacks on how to get to your favorite Chick-fil-A location, and make sure that even though there's construction and stuff, that you've got the right way to get to the location. What are some other things that are happening as far as your menu lineup, or some enhancements that are already recently in place or coming down the pipeline?
Okay, so recently we just changed the ingredients that we put into the wraps.
Okay.
And then we put into the salads.
Okay.
And what's coming down the pipeline is the packaging for the fries will change.
Okay.
And the packaging, the cups will change as well. All of that is coming down in the pipeline.
Waffle fries, man, those things are addicting. And I actually realized that I don't know how long ago this was, but y'all switched over to using sea salt to season the fries. And to me, in my opinion, I can tell the difference in a positive way.
Yeah, it's been about 18 months.
Okay, so it's been a while. But I love that there's sort of this culture of continuous improvement right? For not just the products, the customer service, the way that the branding is done. The Eat More Chicken cows are still part, a staple part of the marketing strategy.
Very big.
What do you believe are some of the things that make you feel like Chick-fil-A is going to continue to grow in the next 10, 15, 20 years?
Well, customer service, that's one of the things that has been lost. A lot of things are automated now, where the interaction between the customer and a person is very, very important.
The level of consistency that you can find between being at your restaurant and then going to 96 or going to Kima and finding that same level of consistency, which unfortunately we don't find that in the competition or in other QSRs. That's a pride point right there, right? Because
Exactly.
that
Yes.
means that you guys, between your store and the other restaurants, y'all are competitive, but y'all are also collaborative in terms of executing that, what we call the brand promise, right?
Sure.
And is that something that's been important in terms of the way that you interact with some of the other owner operators?
Sure, because generally what we have an operator team meeting, and in those operator team meetings, all the operators get together and we sit and talk about strategies, what we're doing, what has worked well, what ideas might be coming down the pipeline that some
Sure.
of us may not know. We go and visit other stores, and you grab ideas
Wow.
about what they might be doing, which could be helpful and beneficial to you in your particular location. So all of that is beneficial to us, because you might be doing something at your store that I'm not doing at my store, and it is paying great dividends. Well,
Sure.
that would be beneficial for me to
Right.
try to implement that into my location, so I can potentially get the kind of results that you're presently getting.
And
at your
that's not typical of. I mean, I don't know that a McDonald's or maybe another franchise has that level of, let me go to your store and see what your best practices are, because I may be able to take some of those best practices. That's something very unique, I think, to what you guys do.
Absolutely. And the other thing with that is, you can call any operator within the chain, even if you don't know them. They are very gracious. Let me just tell you this story. When I was going through the process, like I said, I used to work for Hewlett Packard, and I used to travel all over the Dallas Metroplex as well as East Texas. So as I was going through the process to try to become an operator, I would always stop at a Chick-fil-A. And every time I stopped, they didn't know who I was, but if the operator was there, they were so gracious to me that they just sat and spoke to me and talked to me.
Wow.
And that made such an impact on me that to this day, if anybody who is interested in becoming an operator at Chick-fil-A, I don't care if I'm at my store and I don't care how busy it is, if they want to talk about what the process was or how they might go and start, I will take time out to sit with them and talk to them about that process, because those operators were so gracious to me.
Sure.
That I felt that I needed to extend that to somebody else who was interested in trying to become a Chick-fil-A operator.
Leading by example. Mr. Leigh, we want to thank you for coming to spend some time to share your story and talk to us about the way that you've been able to lead your restaurant. And we know that you have one of the high performing stores in this market in Houston, and that's definitely something to be proud of. And we appreciate that. I hear from different community leaders out there. We love working with Mr. Leigh and Shannon, who is your restaurant marketing director, who's very actively involved in giving back to the community, which is another big pillar of the Chick-fil-A culture and the brand. And so we very much appreciate that you guys lead by example, and that you're being active members of the community by giving back and interacting. You guys have family nights, events, celebrations, and that's certainly something to feel proud about. So we want to thank you for that. Any closing thoughts before a commercial break?
I just want to say, none of this could be done without the help of my team.
Sure.
So I have to give a big shout out to my team and to my leaders, because it's a pretty big operation that we run, and none of this could be done. The success that we've had in the past and what we're trying to do in the future could not be done without my team. So I would just like to give a shout out to both all the people that work in the front of the house, the back of the house, all of the leaders. I appreciate what they've done and what we're trying to do, and I just wanted to give them a shout out because I couldn't be able to do this without their help.
Sure. Well, there you heard it. The words from Mr. Michael Leigh, owner-operator from the Chick-fil-A in Lake City Town Center. We're going to take a short commercial break, and when we come back, we're talking with Whitney Lane, the winner of the Don't Mess with Texas program Song Search. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Being in the event and marketing space, looking your best is key. That's why I'm glad to be using the personal styling services of Macy's at Baybrook Mall. The services of Macy's My Stylist are complete and can offer you a personal shopper to guide you through it all. You're going to be getting the latest trends in fashion from the top brands. You'll go through a custom fitting that will allow your stylist to pull a line of options for your review. And the best part is, it's a complimentary service provided by Macy's. That's right, no charge for the service. And if fashionable trends isn't what you're looking for, you can always visit their beauty department for the latest in makeup and fragrances. So don't wait any longer and let a Macy's stylist take your look to the next level. You'll be glad you did. To schedule your appointment, call Michael Haddock at 409-370-3294 or book online at macys.com/mystylist. And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. I want to know, is there anybody here in the studio today? Woo! There you go. I like that. That sounds very good. Well, I have the pleasure of welcoming to the studio Mrs. Whitney Lane, who is the winner of the Don't Mess with Texas Song Search for 2019. Welcome to the program, Whitney.
Thank you very much.
So, Whitney, you tell us a little bit about how you got involved with what made you decide to sign up to participate in a song search.
Well, I've always been a big advocate on not messing with Texas and not littering.
Okay.
And I was watching the news one morning, drinking my coffee, and there it just came across the screen. I was like, oh my God, this is perfect, because I am a songwriter. So,
sure.
It was just the perfect opportunity, and I was actually speaking to my wife about it, and she told me, all right, you have till Friday, because
there was a deadline.
She gave me a deadline. Well, I had it done that day. It took me 5 minutes to write the song because, like I said, it's something that I genuinely care about, so it was super easy to write. And it just went from there. I submitted it in September.
Okay.
There were over 100 of us that did it, and I found out in November, so I kind of had to keep it quiet until we...
Okay, so walk me through that real quick. So you submit the actual your submission.
Yes.
And then was there a voting process? What did that look like?
Yes, there was a voting process. We submitted the videos. I want to say it started in August, so I found out right towards the end of it.
Okay.
Thank God. So submitted the video on YouTube, and then they opened up the voting process. So you could go in, vote once a day. You had to be a Texas resident to vote. And I want to say the voting actually ended at the end of October. It was on my birthday, so I was like, "Oh heck yeah! Everyone will know this. It's the end of October."
So by the end of the voting period, you still didn't know who was going to be selected.
I had no clue at all, and it was actually getting to that point of, okay, well, I haven't heard anything.
Yeah.
It was a shot. Hey, it's still a really good song.
Sure.
I still had views on YouTube. I was like, well, people still like it. And then I just got an email in November.
So you get an email,
yes.
And it comes to your inbox.
Yes.
What were you doing?
I had just gotten home.
Okay.
It had been a really, really long work day.
Okay.
I got home, tended the kids, walked outside with the dogs, and opened my email. And I actually read the email in the wrong order.
Okay.
You get the generic email, hey, you've been selected as a finalist. If you don't get another email, you didn't win. I was like, oh, cool, I got selected as a finalist. Oh, my God, I won.
Oh, wow.
So I was like, I should have read those
the other way around.
Definitely. But, I mean, it's a fantastic opportunity because...
So you get the email, and then, are they, you need to call us, or we need to?
Well, they told me that they were going to reach out with
Okay.
more information, and I was just like, kind of like shell shock.
Sure.
And in it says, you know, we're going to send over this background information, non-disclosure. Oh man, non-disclosure agreement. That means I can't tell anybody.
And so, from when you actually found out until you could actually talk about it and disclose it, what was that time frame?
Oh gosh, found out mid-November,
Okay.
and actually went to the San Antonio area to record the commercial.
Okay.
'Cause it's being aired on TV and on radio. Went to San Antonio at the beginning of January, and then they didn't announce everything until last month, beginning of February.
Wow.
So
it was a couple of months.
Very hard to keep it to myself. Now, of course, like I, told my mom. And
Right.
my mom.
Mom's gotta know.
Yeah, mom's gotta know. But yeah, it was just a really long
It's
process.
interesting. So, like, parents, and you'll probably agree with me on this, is no matter what it is, your parents know, even if you don't tell them,
Oh,
they
God,
know
yeah.
something's up,
Yes.
so they're like, if
Oh,
you're
no,
having
they
dinner
are-
with
they
them, they're like,
already knew.
hey, you look like you've won something. So it's like,
no.
dang it, Mom, I've signed a non-disclosure, I can't tell you. And it's
And I
like,
was
they know something's
it's
up.
sworn to secrecy. Like she's watching right now.
Oh,
so.
that's awesome.
No, it was definitely one of those. Don't tell Dad, because Dad's gonna tell everybody.
Right.
But
Okay,
she
so
ended
then
up telling him. So.
you traveled to San Antonio to
Yes.
shoot the video.
Yes, we went to
And,
San Antonio.
okay.
I think we were there for 4 days, so it had the whole itinerary, everything laid out. I was just like, oh, okay, this is. But I mean, as a songwriter, this is one of those things that I've been writing songs since I was a kid, so
Sure.
it's like, oh, I actually wrote something and people like it.
Right,
and
right.
They want to do something with it, so.
And to our viewers, we actually have a copy of the video that you recorded in San Antonio.
Yes, recorded in San Antonio.
And so they brought in some extras and stuff,
Yes.
and they gave you what, a makeup artist and hair and all kinds of stuff.
Makeup artist, hair, everything. It's actually GDC Marketing is
Okay.
who works hand in hand with the Department of Transportation.
Sure.
And they do a lot of videos for them. So great experience, great people to work
Right.
with. And kind of like I told you before we started this, I don't really talk in public. I'm a singer.
Sure.
Not a talker.
Right.
But they made me feel really comfortable and just focused on what we were doing. So.
Nice. Well, let's take a look at that video.
Beautiful hills and highways of green. Wouldn't it be better if they were clean? Only takes one person to make things right. So join hand in hand and protect our countrysides. One person starts and another follows through. Well, don't mess with Texas. It starts with you.
I'm Whitney K. Lane. Remember, y'all, don't mess with Texas.
Whitney, congratulations to you on winning. Now that you've
you.
got some work ahead of you, right?
Yes.
Because you're going to be doing some more promotional stuff,
Yes.
and I think it's great. You're also where's your hometown?
My hometown's Silsbee, but I live in LaPorte, Texas.
You live in
now.
LaPorte, yeah. Shout out to our friends from
Local.
LaPorte.
Been here for a while.
Yeah, there you go. I'm a LaPorte native. Went to
Yes.
LaPorte High School. Whitney, congratulations again on winning. And I think what I want to do is I want to save a little bit of time for the end of the show, so that maybe you can sing a song for us, something original that you can put together, whatever you want to sing. And so we're going to take a short commercial break. When we come back, we're going to be talking with Leigh Ann Fry, the executive director for Bay Area Turning Point. They have a phenomenal event that's coming up. All of this and more on today's episode of On Air with Pierre. Stay tuned. And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Hey, if you want to know how you can catch the replays of today's show, we're going to be posting those at Top Star Events and Entertainment on our Facebook page. We upload those videos, so be sure and check those out. And of course, be sure and also reshare this program so you can let folks know that you're watching the Bay Area Houston's premier Talk Time show on air with Pierre. Today, I have the pleasure of talking with Leigh Fry. Leigh, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. So, Leigh, I want to start off by getting a little bit of your background.
Sure.
And how you came to be involved with such a great organization like Bay Area Turning Point.
It is a great organization. I have a background in working with children and families in crisis. I was the executive director in Abilene, Texas for an agency very similar to Bay Area Turning Point called NOAA Project.
Okay.
My oldest son and his wife moved to the coast from Abilene, and they took my granddaughter with them. And then my younger son moved to the coast, and my husband and I looked at each other and said, wow, we really miss our kids. And
Sure.
how are we going to do, go to T-ball and dance and all those things for Kinley? And we really just took a leap of faith and said, God, we really want to move and be with our kids. My husband got a job first, and then I wanted to keep working in the movement because I was very heavily involved at the state level with several different committees, and I just felt like I wasn't finished, and so I started looking for another position, and this one came open. I worked with Texas Council on Family Violence on their board of directors, and I connected with them, and I said, hey, tell me about Bay Area Turning Point, and they had wonderful things to say, and I applied for the job, and I'm just a firm believer that God is good. And
So how long ago was this?
It was a year, February 26th.
Wow,
So,
okay.
yeah, just a year.
So you are you liking Houston and the Bay Area?
I love it. I don't mind admitting I was a tad bit nervous because Abilene's small.
Right.
And I really thought that there would be this huge, giant city feel. But
Sure.
the Bay Area just has such an intimate, close,
Sure.
small town feel to
Right,
it. That it's
right.
just been such a good fit for me.
We always talk about that sort of kind of in the inside of 610 is what is former Houston,
Yeah.
but then you have these very active micro communities, Woodlands, Katy,
Yes.
Sugarland, and Bay Area is
Bay Area,
definitely one of those that I may be biased here, but I think
Probably a little bit.
It's the best. It encompasses so many cities,
It does.
so many communities within those
Yes.
communities.
Yeah.
And also in the nonprofit sector, there's a lot of nonprofits,
There are a lot.
which sometimes that can present some challenges because we definitely want to do everything we can to give back, but there's a lot of nonprofits that good nonprofits,
Of course,
yeah.
yeah.
And so you guys actually have been around for how long? Bay Area Turning Point?
Almost 28 years.
20 years.
Yeah, 28.
And 28? Wow. So so the 30-year anniversary
We
is
are
coming
coming
up
up. We
pretty
are,
soon. So if you had to sort of encapsulate what the primary mission of Bay Area Turning Point is, what would that be?
We're a center of care for victims of family violence and sexual assault. We have a residential program where if someone is in danger and they need safe shelter, they can live in our emergency shelter.
Okay.
But we also have a non-residential program, so you can receive any of our services free of charge, whether you live in the shelter or not.
When we talk about, first of all, domestic abuse sometimes tends to be a subject that's difficult to talk about. Whereas when we think about some of the causes, like, when somebody gets sick of cancer or something, you go out there and you do a fundraiser, or you go and you tell your story and you talk about it. Domestic abuse doesn't have that kind of feel. It's a very sort of it's paired sometimes with embarrassment and with shame, which is sad, because the need for people that are involved or being affected by domestic abuse need just as much help.
Absolutely.
What do you believe are some of the things that make the work that you guys do so valuable for our community?
I think you hit on some key things. So historically, it has been a very closed subject.
Sure.
People tend to shy away from it because it's not pretty. It's not a fun thing to talk about. But I think we've made great strides over the last 10 years. The Me Too movement was very powerful for us. Really telling people it's okay to tell your story.
Sure.
And the more we say that, the more we're seeing people come forward and talk about it, and the less shame that there is. I really, if I could remove something, it would be that shame factor.
That shame
because
factor.
really the person perpetrating the crimes against these people should be the ones feeling shame.
Absolutely.
And not the individual who was impacted.
Absolutely.
So,
and there's another piece, I think, to what you're talking about, which is that sometimes from either the outside or from a person that's not experiencing this, it's easy for us to say, well, why didn't you get out? Or why didn't you say no? Or why didn't you call? Or why didn't you, these kind of why didn't yous that seem so easy at face value, right? But the reality is, and I'm sure you have plenty of stories to back this up, but it's not easy getting out.
It's not.
It's not as easy as just picking up the phone or
No.
telling the person committing the crime to stop. And unfortunately, I think from some of the literature that I've read, the rate at which sometimes a person will get out of a situation where there's domestic abuse involved, and years later will get back will fall into the same situation is very, very sad.
It is. So the national statistic is that a person will leave 7 times before they leave for the final time. And there's a lot of reasons for that. So, publicly we say, oh my gosh, that's horrible. But I'll give you a quick story. We worked with
Please.
a woman who just escaped a very, very dangerous situation with her children. And when she came into our care, at some point in time, we were going through legal process, and the judge, even though we had substantial proof that the children had been sexually molested by the father, as well as him sexually molesting the mom, substantial proof, Child Protective Services involved, the judge made the decision that he didn't believe it. And he gave the dad unlimited access to the children, overnight visits with the children. Well, what do you think that mom did? She went back. If it were me, I'm gonna go back because I'm gonna protect my
kids.
So to us, it looks like, oh, wow, that's a horrible thing that she went back. But they go back for thousands of reasons. They go back because they're threatening to kill the person. They go back because the perpetrator holds the insurance and they have an ill child who needs medical care. They go back because they don't have job skills, because they've been held back and limited from having any job skills. So, you could go on and on. There's thousands of
and
reasons.
And that 100% explains the 7-time statistic,
Absolutely.
which...
one time a woman told me, she said, I just said, so talk to me about you've left and you've come back and you've come, and she said, every time I leave and come here, I gain a new skill and it makes me stronger. And I go back, and then I come and I gain the next skill until I can leave for the final time. She said, how I left the very first time, I had no job skills. I didn't have a daycare for my children. I didn't have a vehicle. I had no training, and you gave me all of those things in increments. So,
wow,
powerful.
And I think, I'll tell you, Leigh, I did not know the 7 times rate, and I think that 100% is a story that, or it's a statistic that needs... people need to be aware of that
and to understand it.
Do you believe the Me Too movement helped in many ways for folks that the Me Too movement seemed to sort of start around people of high profile, celebrities, but do you believe that impacted positively to the average individual to come out and speak forth and tell their story?
I really do. Harris County over the last year has seen a distinctive rise in instances of family violence. There's probably a couple of factors. Huge events, we see more family violence. So, the fallout from the hurricane creates situations in homes. But I really believe that the public eye on this, and really it's in the news, we're seeing our professional teams, athletics, hold players accountable for their actions. And I really think people are starting to look at that and say, it's okay for me to tell my story.
And a key point to what you just said is, this also relates to, I was actually having a conversation with a colleague, a friend, and we're talking about the bullying epidemic problem. Yeah. And one of the things he said that I found very interesting, he said, one of the things that we sometimes do is focus on building programs and support and things for the person that's being bullied, and we forget to address that there is another human being that's doing the bullying, and that also needs to be addressed.
Bullying is one of the biggest precursors to becoming a batterer down the line.
Okay. So do you have do you guys work maybe on the legislative side or from a community perspective to speak up for legislation that holds these people accountable?
Absolutely. So we are members of Texas Council on Family Violence, and through that organization, we're able to help set the legislative agenda. I served on the committee that helped set the legislative agenda for this year.
Okay.
And it's really exciting things, tightening up some things around protective orders,
Sure.
Having some things in place when someone is a victim and they're everything falls apart and they're in an apartment lease. How do they get out of that apartment lease without paying a penalty?
Sure.
There's so many barriers for family violence, and that's another reason why don't they just leave? Well, I'm in an apartment lease for
Sure.
a year. How do I get out of that?
Right.
So legislative pieces are really key to that, and we're very actively involved in that process.
So it sounds like there's still some room, or
There is. Yeah.
quite a lot of room
There
for
is.
improvement on
Yeah.
the infrastructure, the systems that could be put in
Yes,
place
absolutely.
to help have that accountability, and also help on the other side of the fence to somebody that wants to get out. That there's not those getting out of a lease, is a great
Stuff you
example
don't think
of that.
about.
Absolutely,
You
but
don't
it
think
but it 100% influences your decision to leave or not to leave.
Absolutely.
So raising funds for your organization is obviously an important piece, and you have an event that's coming up.
We do.
Tell us a little bit about that.
So April 4th, we have our Dogs and Divas style show. And that style show really highlights just one of many programs that we have.
Okay.
But what we find is when people are fleeing a dangerous situation, there are all kinds of factors. So they want to make sure that there's somewhere safe for their children, but they also want to make sure that there's somewhere safe for their pets. Most shelters don't accept pets.
Wow.
And through our Safe Paws program, we've partnered with different people in the community that will foster someone's pet while they stay in the shelter with us.
Okay.
The instances of abuse against animals it's staggering.
Sure.
And a lot of times a batterer will say, if you leave, I will kill your pet or I will harm your pet. Or they've already abused the pet, and the person knows if I leave and I don't have anywhere for my pet, it's going to die.
Wow.
So this program, through Community Connections, allows the pets to have somewhere to go. So our Dogs and Divas style show just highlights that one program. It's a serious subject, but it's a really good time, the Dogs and Divas style show. We have raffle tickets available. We have a silent auction. We've got some really fun surprises this year that I'm not going to tell you about. You have to buy
That
a
means
ticket
you're
and
going to have to
come.
attend the event
You've
so
gotta
that you can
come.
get that
You have to
information.
attend, yes.
Leanne, if people want to purchase tickets, how can they do that?
They can go to our website.
Okay.
At the Bay Area Turning Point website.
Okay.
And there's a link on there, and you just buy your tickets that way.
And then you guys also have a Facebook page.
We do.
That we want to ask our viewers to be sure and get connected with,
please.
Bay Area Turning Point. Leanne, any closing comments? We sincerely appreciate the work that you're doing, and we know how important it is to the community that your services are part of the community. And anything else that you'd like to add?
There's easy ways for anyone to help us. We have a resale shop. You can donate to the Bay Area Turning Point resale shop. It's on Egret Bay.
Okay.
Our clients get to get clothing and household goods there free of charge, and then we sell the additional items, and that goes to our operations. We need volunteers. We really are in the process where we are actively looking for new board members to be on the board of directors. Every month we put out our top 10 or 15 things that we need. It's always on our Facebook page and on our website. So it's things like toilet paper, paper towels, macaroni and cheese, things like that. So look for ways to help us. Look for ways to connect.
If you want to get involved, this is a great organization to support. Once again, their Dogs and Diva events takes place on April the 4th, and that again, one of our sponsors, one of our partners, And so be sure and get connected with the Dogs and Diva event. It's going to be a fun event with raffles and some surprises that Leanne won't tell us. But
No, you have
all
to
that
come.
means is that you have to go to the event so you can get more information. Leanne, I want to thank you so much
Thank
for
you
spending
for
some
having
time
me.
talking with us. And we're going to take our last commercial break. When we come back, Miss Whitney Lane is going to close out the show with some music. She is the winner of the Don't Mess with Texas Song Search Program for 2019. Stay tuned and don't move. We'll be right back. And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Before we go to the music with Whitney Lane, I have the joy of welcoming Melaine Sweeney to the show, who is talking about the League City Music Festival. Welcome to the show, Melaine. Yeah.
Thank you, Pierre. Thank you for having me.
So tell us a little bit about how you got involved with this amazing festival.
Sure. I'm the secretary of the League City Lions Club.
Okay.
What people don't understand is this is the 65th year that the League City Lions Club has hosted this event at Walter Hall
65
Park.
years.
65
It's a long time.
years. It is.
But you weren't around for all 65
Oh
years.
no, I've been in Texas for 7.
Okay.
Been a part of the League City Lions Club for 2 years. They have a history of getting people immediately when they start into the programs, working on it. Last year, I was the co-chair of the barbecue Cookoff.
Okay.
And so they said I did a decent enough job of helping Leigh and Jason Long, our president of our club.
Sure.
And doing that, they said, okay, now chair the whole event.
Wow.
But
There's a barbecue aspect to this event. So it's a League City Music Fest and barbecue festival.
Cook-off.
I mean,
Yes.
That's what better things could you mix than great barbecue and great music?
Absolutely. We are an IBCA
Okay.
sanctioned cook-off. That is the International Barbecue Cookers Association. For those who don't know that, they are collecting points to go into major competitions, including one that's in Memphis. So we are a stop on the different cookers competitions to gather points to get invited into those larger festival.
This is like
larger
serious
competitions.
barbecue.
It is. Last year we had 108 cook-off teams.
Okay.
We suspect that we will have about between 108 and 115 this year. So we look forward to that. 2 days of different categories. Friday is salsa, margarita, beef fajita, chicken fajita, and then that's also our best of shows. So we have the best of show, which is the best cook-off tents.
Okay.
And then partnered with that is the best porta potty. It is this fun little culture in that cook-off of they get excited and they will decorate them out and everything else. There are very fancy porta potties in those cook-off tents.
What?
Yes.
Now this is you're hearing it right here live. We're live right here on Honor with Pierre. Porta potties that get. I mean, so you're talking like premium like toilet paper, or
it is beyond that, air conditioned. Somebody had heated seats. They decorate them out, open the door to the porta potty, and you have air fresheners coming out.
Gosh.
There's music inside of it. I mean, and ours is they get the coveted toilet seat. It is a blinged out. It is bedazzled, black enameled.
So there's a winner.
It's a trophy. Absolutely.
And who picks who? How do you get to be on the judges panel
There
for the
is,
porta
so
potty?
it is an invitation only for the best of show and best of porta potty.
Wow.
Jason Long, the chairman of the cook-off,
Yeah.
does do the selection of who gets to do the best of show. They
Wow.
ride around on golf carts going to the different tents and everything else for that.
Sure.
The actual food portion is worked with the IBCA judges. They control and run and make sure that all of the judges
Everything is run to
are
regulation. Yeah.
However, it takes about 300 people to judge a cook-off of this side. So we do open it up to the community to sign up to be judges of the food of it. So told you the Friday. So Saturday is we have the chili. It starts in the morning with the chili cook-off.
Okay.
Then we go into chicken,
Okay.
then ribs and brisket. and then we follow with giving out about $10,000. So we have a total combined pot of $10,000 for our cook-off.
Wow.
Winnings and trophies.
Okay, so that's Friday. Then we get into Saturday.
Well, those were Saturday. So those were the Saturdays.
Okay,
on
gotcha.
there. So, but then all throughout this, so we start on Thursday with a free day of getting into the park
Okay.
with discounted carnival wristbands. The carnival has told us they're going to do the wristbands for $12 for unlimited ride for Thursday.
Okay.
So free to park, free to get in, and then you do your wristbands for the carnival. We're going to have karaoke in the midway on Thursday. The beer garden is going to open up. An invitation was just given to the winner. Pub Level had their contest. Pub's Got Talent.
Okay.
It was a great country music performer named Vaughn.
Okay.
So we extended an invite for him as the winner of that to perform in the beer garden for Thursday. So that's Thursday's activities.
Okay.
Friday is our first responders night. All fire, EMS, and police officers show their credentials. They get into the park for free.
Okay.
But then, so we open up with our side stage performance that we have two different teenage groups that are all local to the area. It's a band called Haze, and then the second is Below Skies. And so then over in our beer garden, we have two different groups. One is Dalton DeRich, followed by Texas TNT.
Okay.
And then on our main stage, we have Nick in the Groove and our all-time party favorites, Bag of Donuts.
Bag of Donuts. They're a
Bag
fun
of
group.
They are. They just got inducted into the Louisiana Music Hall of Fame. They're the first cover band to have ever been granted that
Wow.
offer.
They put on a great show, super
They do.
interactive. I mean, you
We love them.
You want to have a good time, you can have a good time with Bag of Donuts.
Absolutely.
I noticed on here, Melaine, that there's a new sort of day that you guys have traditionally not done in the past, which is sort of an international Cinco de Mayo on Sunday. Tell me about that.
So Sunday, we did decide to bring Sunday back as another day free to get into the park.
Okay.
And so we wanted an international festival. It is Cinco de Mayo, so we said we have to do something with that.
Sure.
It was also to embrace the diverse culture in our area.
I love it.
So we have Texas City High Schools bringing out their mariachi band.
Okay.
We also have some flamenco dancers from Spain. We have some Egyptian folklorica dancers, all sorts of different groups. We have Ojos Rojos,
Okay.
which is actually a reggae band that will be performing over in that midway side stage area. Then over in the ballpark, we partnered with Leigh City Pets Alive to do a pet festival.
Cool.
So come experience some great different international culture. There will be discounted sales on Dos Equis,
Okay.
and everything else for
Dos
that.
Equis,
But-
there you go.
And then go over to the ball field and bring home one of a kitten or a dog.
So there'll be
with you.
pets available for adoption.
It is an adoption from the shelter, from
Okay.
Leigh City Pets Alive. It's a no-kill shelter in Leigh City. And then there'll be some other different, the dog park will be out there representing, as well as different pet services
Okay.
and everything else. I believe a local veterinarian is talking about coming out and doing low-cost vaccinations.
Nice.
So all sorts of different things in that to support our local shelter.
Wow.
And as a part of it.
There seems like there is something for everyone in this
There
festival.
is,
That
there
is
is.
multi-day.
It is.
I mean, you're
Everything.
catering to all the different kinds of crowds, and no wonder that the show is this festival is going on for 65 years strong.
Absolutely.
Melaine, I want to thank you for taking some time to come talk to us.
Mm-hmm.
What's the website where all of this information is listed?
It's lcmusicfest.com.
Perfect. So you hear that? It's lcmusicfest.com. They've got all of the activities and their great lineup of music.
Absolutely.
Any other closing thoughts for the
really,
festival?
Absolutely. Don't forget that we do have Saturday. Saturday's a full day.
Okay.
The midway's open with shopping, tons of different international foods, and our artists that are on there, the main stage. We have... we start with Southern Shanks Band.
Okay,
We move
yeah.
on to Doug Supernall.
Okay.
And we end the night with Jared Neiman, straight out of Nashville.
Nice.
So
Well, it's going to be a great time. Be sure and put on your calendar the League City Music Festival and Barbecue Cookoff, where you can get involved. Find all the lineup of information at lcmusicfest.com. Melaine, thank you so much for spending some time with us and coming on the show for On Air with Pierre. And we hope to come out to the festival and enjoy, have a good time. Be sure and get connected with them. You're also on social media, on Facebook.
Absolutely.
And it's important to mention that this is all put together by the International Lions Club, right?
It is by the League City Lions Club.
League City Lions
So
Club.
yes, it is. This is our major fundraiser of the
Sure.
year. This event allows us to support all of the different organizations in League City, including on Friday we do invite 1,000 special needs students to come out for a free day of carnival.
Wow.
With community partners, including Whataburger provides all of their lunches for the day. Cool Cow Creamery is doing ice cream cones.
Sure.
Snow Bros is doing snow cones. And a lot of different organizations come out and help support those kids who may not otherwise be able to
Absolutely.
attend a carnival.
Sure.
So it's a great opportunity and allows us to continue to support League City and the surrounding areas and all of our different projects.
Wow, sounds fantastic.
So-
Melaine, thank you again so much for joining us. We're going to take our last commercial break, and when we come back, we'll close out our day with Whitney Lane. Stay tuned and don't move. Being in the event and marketing space, looking your best is key. That's why I'm glad to be using the personal styling services of Macy's at Baybrook Mall. The services of Macy's My Stylist are complete and can offer you a personal shopper to guide you through it all. You're going to be getting the latest trends in fashion from the top brands. You'll go through a custom fitting that will allow your stylist to pull a line of options for your review. And the best part is, it's a complimentary service provided by Macy's. That's right, no charge for the service. And if fashionable trends isn't what you're looking for, you can always visit their beauty department for the latest in makeup and fragrances. So don't wait any longer and let a Macy's stylist take your look to the next level. You'll be glad you did. To schedule your appointment, call Michael Haddock at 409-370-3294 or book online at macys.com/mystylist. We have Miss Whitney Lane. We want to thank all of our guests for joining us today, and be sure and don't miss next week's episode. We have a great show lined up for you. Whitney, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you.
Kick us off. Yeah.
I'm going to sing y'all a song that I wrote a couple years ago. It's called With a Smile. From the time I was a little girl, my mama taught me right. Said, girl, you grow up one day and people try to fight. Try to tell you that you're doing it all wrong. Gotta make that decision on your own. From teachers to preachers, I've heard everything. From algebra to how love, told it's gotta be the same. Choose to listen to my mama and stick out my neck. This girl's got a brain of her own. Nobody can tell me different. So I choose to be who I am. No more hiding in a dark room or be told that I am wrong. So I choose to live my life. And if people wanna fight, well, I'll just show them what this country girl does it. Shut them up with a smile. From playing my guitar to how I change a tire, there's every kind of scholar trying to tell me how to do it right.
appreciate the suggestions, think I'll look the other way. My mama told me to sing my song, and I ain't gonna change a thing. So I choose to be who I am. No more hiding in a dark room or being told that I am wrong. So I choose to live my life. And if people wanna fight, well, I'll just show them what this country girl does it. Shut them up with a smile. So take this lesson I'm trying to tell you today. Don't let anyone or anything stand in your way. Got a God who loves us just the way we are, and He wants us to stand up and play all the cards. So choose to be who you are. Don't keep hiding in a dark room or being told that you were wrong. You should choose to live your life. And if people try to fight, oh, no matter who you are, shut them up with a smile. I say, no matter who you are, shut them up with a smile.
Thank you guys so much. We'll see you next
y'all.
week.